Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis, and we are really happy you're here. We're blessed to have you here. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning, and it's wonderful to have you here with us. And if you're listening to this later, we're really happy to have you here there as well. And those of you who come every week, we really are blessed because we couldn't do this without you. So thank you for being here as well. Today's topic is going to be, I am perfect just as I am. I'm going to read a Dr. Seuss today. I love to read Dr. Seuss. I just think he's awesome. He has so many spiritual lessons in his books. It's great for the kids, they get whatever, but it goes in subconsciously. And then we adults go back and read it or listen to it. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that was in there. I want to invite you to say hi or hello if you're here. Good morning, Joey. And because I don't know who's here, I don't know if I even have an audience unless somebody says hi. And I'd also like to invite you to do a watch party so you and your friends can watch it together and comment back and forth. It's a great way for us to get more exposure. We want to try and get our audience up a little bit. There's a lot of benefits on Facebook Live when you have a bigger audience. Like if you get 1,000 likes, you can put a donate now button on, so people don't have to go to our website to contribute. So that's pretty cool. And I'd like to take this moment to introduce my team. I have Faith over here, who is my assistant. She doesn't want to appear on camera today, so that's fine. The practitioner of the day is the wise and powerful Oz. He's supporting me on the pulpit today. And doing our wonderful music today is Albertina Giuffre. We know her as Tina. We do music from Elaine Silver, Fairy Elaine Silver. I'm tongue-tied this morning. And Karen Drucker, and we really appreciate them. I hope you enjoy the music. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable and allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
God everywhere, everyone, everything. God is eternal. God is ever present. God is everywhere we can be and every when that we can exist. For God is that one thing that is all things. And since this is so, I know that God is right here, right now, with me, with you, with each and every one of us, now and in future times. as it has always been. And I know that I am part of that too, and that so are you. We are all one in it, for it is all there is. For being part of this one great, great endeavor, I give great thanks, and I let it be so. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. Okay, so I want to remind you to say hi, hello, if you're here. Also, there's a like button, a little thumbs up. If you like something you hear in the music or in something that I say. And then there's the little heart for if you love something that I say or that Tina sings. And then the wow button if something really inspires you. I love that little wow. I love him. So I want to invite you to make sure that you use those buttons all the way through the service today. And this next song is We Are All One by Elaine Silver. And I would invite you to sing along, sing it proud, sing it loud and proud, because nobody else can hear you except your significant other if you live with one. So if you know the words to this song, sing along with it.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
So this next song is a Karen Drucker song that it's one of my very, very favorites. Lighten Up, which I think is really important, you know, when we understand that we are perfect just as we are. So this next song being sung by Tina is Lighten Up by Karen Drucker.
I was walking down the street, I was feeling mighty fine, till I caught the silver window of my behind. There was a wiggle and a wiggle that I never seen before. And as I looked a little closer, oh my God, I found more. I freaked out and I freaked out, cause this just got to be my day. When I heard those voices, yes, I say, lighten up. Don't take it so seriously. Lighten up. Trust the mystery. Lighten up. It doesn't matter anyway. Just enjoy your life. Get out of your way. Lighten up. Now I'm headed to a party to meet my friends. I got an outfit that's to die for. Honey, I'm just a living end. But as I scope out the scene, it's obvious to me that money at this party, well, it's simply obscene. They're talking about the mansions and their yachts and some names, and in an instant I feel I'm worthy, small and ashamed. But as I try to make a beeline, slip out the back door, I hear a voice inside me say it once more. Lighten up. Don't take it so seriously. Lighten up. Trust the mystery. Lighten up. It doesn't matter anyway. Just enjoy your life. Get out your way. Lighten up. Worrying and judging, what good does it do when you compare yourself to me and I compare myself to you? There's a disease to please, has just got to go. And I love myself, that's all I need to know. Now I'm looking in the mirror, and who has a fear? Do I curse? Do I stress? It's the thing I most fear. But then I remember my new mantra, and I soon realize that I'm perfect, even with wrinkles and cellulite eyes. I don't have to change a thing, struggle or try, 'cause my real beauty comes from deep inside. I know I won't take it so seriously. I'm gonna trust the mystery. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm gonna enjoy my life. Get out of my own way. I lighten up. I'm gonna trust the mystery. I lighten up. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna enjoy my life. Get listening every day. I lighten up. Oh, I'm just gonna give myself a break. I'll lighten up. It feels so good. Lighten up.
Thank you, Tina. That was great. I love that song. I'll see you on the other side. So, excuse me. I think it's really important because I think that we take ourselves way too personally or way too seriously. And then, when things happen, we get all caught up in the image of things rather than being able to laugh at ourselves. I laugh at myself a lot. And good thing, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so in that vein, I would like to read now Gertrude McFuzz by Dr. Seuss. There once was a girl bird named Gertrude McFuzz, and she had the smallest plain tail ever was. One droopy droop feather, that's all that she had. And oh, that one feather made Gertrude so sad. She curled it, she dyed it, she gave it a puff. She decked it with flowers, but it wasn't enough. For no matter what, it just was what it was, a tail that simply wasn't meant to catch the eye of an elephant. The one feather tail of Miss Gertrude McFuzz, for there was another young bird that she knew, a fancy young birdie named Lala Lelu. And instead of one feather behind, she had two. Poor Gertrude, whenever she happened to spy Miss Lala Lelu flying by in the sky, she got very jealous. She frowned and she pouted. Then one day she got awfully mad and she shouted, "This just isn't fair. I have one, she has two. I must have a tail, just like Lala Lelu." So she flew to her uncle, a doctor named Drake, whose office was high in a tree by the lake. And she cried, "Uncle Doctor, oh, please, do you know of some kind of pill that will make my tail grow?" "Tut, tut," said the doctor, "such talk, how absurd. Your tail is just right for your kind of bird." Then Gertrude had tantrums. She raised such a din that finally her uncle, the doctor, gave in. And he told her just where she could find such a pill, on a pillberry vine on the top of a hill. "Oh, thank you," chirped Gertrude McFuzz, and she went straight to the hill where the pillberry grew. Yes, there was the vine, and as soon as she saw it, she plucked off a berry. She started to gnaw it. It tasted just awful, almost made her sick. She wanted that tail, so she swallowed it quick. She felt something happen. She felt a small twitch, as if she'd been tapped down behind by a switch. And Gertrude looked around, and she cheered. It was true. Two feathers exactly like Lala Lelu. Then she got an idea. I know what I'll do. I'll grow a tail better than Lala Leroux. Those pills that grow feathers are working just fine. She nibbled another one off of the vine. She felt a new twitch, and then Gertrude yelled, "Whee! Miss Lala Leroux has only just 2. I have 3. When Lala Leroux sees this beautiful stuff, she'll fall right down on her face, sure enough. I'll show her who's perfect, I certainly will. Well, I'll make my tail even prettier still." She snatched up those berries that grew on that vine. She gobbled down 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And she didn't stop eating, Miss Gertrude McFuzz, till she'd eaten 3 dozen, all that there was. Then the feathers popped out with a zing and a zang. They blossomed like flowers that bloom in the spring. All fit for a queen, what a sight to behold. They sparkled like diamonds and gumdrops and gold, like spaghetti, like satin, like lace. They burst out like rockets all over the place. They waved in the air and they swished in the breeze, and some were as long as the branches on the trees. And still they kept growing. They popped until long about sundown, they finally stopped. And now, giggled Gertrude, the next thing to do is to fly straight home and show Lala Leroux. And when Lala sees these, why, her face will get red, and she'll let out a scream and fall right down dead. She spread out her wings to take off the ground, but with all these feathers, she weighed 90 pounds. She yanked and she pulled and she let out a squawk, but that bird couldn't fly, she couldn't run, she couldn't walk. All through that night, she was stuck on that hill, and Gertrude McFuzz might be stuck up there still. If her good Uncle Dake hadn't heard the girl yell, he rushed to her rescue and brought along help. To lift Gertrude up almost broke all their beaks, and to fly her home, it took almost 2 weeks. And then it took almost another week more to pull out those feathers. My, Gertrude was sore. And finally, when all the pulling was done, Gertrude behind her just had one. That one little feather she had as a starter, but now that's enough because she's smarter. I love this particular Dr. Seuss poem because that's really what we do. We compare ourselves to others, and when you compare, oh, thank you, Ravinda. She says, "I love your video title." Very nice. When you compare yourself to others, you either come up short or you come up long, meaning either I am better than you or I am less than. And anytime you do that, it's not a place of power. It's not a place where you feel good about yourself. We overcompensate by thinking we're better than others because we don't feel good about ourselves. Or if we come up short, then it's always, oh, I wish I had that person's life. Oh, I wish this was me. And what's really true is I had this friend one time, you always look at somebody else's life and you think, oh my God, she has the best life, or he has the best life. And we think, oh my God, I would love her life. And I had this friend one time that I really admired, and I looked at her life and I thought, God, she has money, she has this great boyfriend, she has, this beautiful house, she has yada, yada, yada. And she always had a smile on her face. She always seemed happy. And I went to stay with her for a week, and I couldn't get out of there fast enough because she finally felt comfortable to just let down the guard and be who she was. And she was unhappy, very unhappy. All of it was a big facade, and she hated her house. She hated her boyfriend. She hated how she looked. And, it was just awful being around her for that whole week. And I never again looked at someone else's life and thought, God, I wish I had their life, because we really don't know what happens behind closed doors. We see the facade of what their life looks like, and it's not always the same thing as what reality it is. And so envy doesn't pay. And that's really the gist of it, is that if I'm envious of someone, I'm envious of an ideal. I am not envious of what they have or what they look like or what their life is about. I'm envious of an ideal that I have imagined their life is like. And we all have problems. I mean, nobody can look at anyone else's life and say that person has no problems, because we all do. We all have issues. It's just whether my issues to me seem worse than someone else's issues, but I guarantee you they think the same thing. They're sitting there looking at your life thinking, my issues are horrible. At least she doesn't have those kind of issues, whether that's relationships or health or money or, status or a good job or whatever that is, when I was working at Mile High, I got a really good glimpse of what it's like to be a corporate minister. There's various size churches. We're still in the family size church. But Mile High is definitely a corporate size church. And I looked at Roger's job and I didn't want it. He was in meetings from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. And then he went off to teach. But when he taught, there were so many students in the room, like 300 students, that he couldn't really have a conversation with anybody. So he would do a lecture and then break us all up into pods where we would actually discuss what he had just said. And I thought about that and I thought, what do I like about ministry? I really love the idea that I can one-on-one talk to people and I can one-on-one deal with their issues and I can teach them and be really involved in watching the process of their growth. And so working at Mile High really taught me a valuable lesson about looking at, because I always thought, oh, it would be so nice to be a minister of a big church, right? Everybody kind of has that dream. But after seeing what his life was like, that's not the kind of church I want. Not to say that I don't want a larger church. I always want our church to grow, but I'd like it to be still manageable so that I have a one-on-one relationship with the people in the church. And there's ways to do that. But you have to be very careful how you do that. So you make sure that you have time for that. So envy doesn't pay. When you look at that other person's life, you have to remember that there are things about their life that you probably wouldn't like. And so we look at our lives and we are grateful for the life that we have. The other thing is being okay as we are. I am the most perfect me that I can be. When I think about that, I think, God made me and I'm made of God's stuff. And so there's nobody that can do me like I do me. And so when we strive to be like another person, I think it's just boring. Let me put it that way. If everybody looked and acted like me, I would be bored to tears, because it's the differences that we celebrate, the diversity that we celebrate in each other. Just like a snowflake, every snowflake is different. And there's a reason for that. It's unique, not special. Don't get me wrong. I had this friend one time that used to say, I'm special. And I kept thinking, what does that mean? Like if everybody was special, then nobody would be special because everybody would be special. We can always say that everything is unique and everyone is unique. And we start to celebrate who we are because we are unique. And so if I emulate someone else all the time, then I've lost the uniqueness of who I am. They're unique to them. It's tempting. I will tell you, I had 5 mentor ministers when I was at Mile High in ministerial school. I had 5 mentor ministers, and, I bonded with Dr. Kathleen Vogt, and I became her assistant, and I was her friend for many, many, many years. We used to have Christmas over at her house. Well, not Christmas, but sausage and peppers. And before she died, we got together and we were doing this thing. And I asked Kent and Kathleen, how old is your daughter? And they said 26. And I was like, oh my God, we have been doing this for 26 years. Because when we first started going over there, Melody was crawling around as a toddler. And I couldn't believe it had been 26 years that we did that. And there were times when I would listen to Kathy's voice, especially like her meditations. I would listen to her voice and it was so smooth and so soothing and so perfect. And I thought, God, if I could only sound like her. And then I've been listening to tapes of myself and I don't have the exact same qualities that she had, but I do like how my voice used to sound. I don't know that it sounds that way coming across, here, because it's a little easier to modulate your voice when you have a microphone and you're like walking around on the pulpit. But I listen to that and I think, oh my God, I really like how my voice turned out. And it doesn't sound anything like her voice. And yet it is also smooth, and it also is soothing. So when I think about that, I think about how often we try to emulate others. And each one of my mentor ministers gave me a different piece of who I am. And I say it that way because I looked at what they did, and instead of emulating them, I tried to learn what that quality that I wanted to get for myself was, but I did it in a different way instead of, identically matching how they did it. Dr. Fred Vogt was a kick. He was a real kick. And, I got the sense of you have to almost have like this irreverency to be able to be human. He used to say, I'm the same person in the pulpit that I am on the street. And it took me a while to get it. And what I really got is if you are truly, truly yourself, you are the person you were meant to be, and you are that all the time, then people resonate to you because you're authentic. You are truly who you are. And so I think there was a sense of authenticity that he taught me, but it was because of his irreverency. So I like to call myself the irreverent reverend, because that's really, truly, I think, what people relate to. If I stand up here all prissy and all holier than thou, nobody's going to be able to relate to my story. Nobody's going to be able to relate to what I'm teaching or what I'm preaching. But if I'm the everyday person, then you can relate to what I'm saying. And I try to bring my background as a human doing to everything that I say and think and do. And so we celebrate ourselves as unique, but as perfect, just as we are. Not that we don't want to grow. There was this song, I just love this song. And I used to make sure that all of my students bought this tape. And it was called, I Love Myself the Way I Am, and Still I Want to Grow. And it was Louise Hay Productions put it out. And it was truly the best meme you could ever get in your head. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. I don't remember the rest of it right now. But when you think about singing that song on a daily basis, you're celebrating who you are. And it doesn't mean that you don't grow, and it doesn't mean that you don't develop. What it means is that you deepen into the person that you actually are. You deepen into that perfection that God intended for you, that God's stuff that you're made of. You are exactly who you are supposed to be, and you need to learn to love yourself at that level. Because when you love yourself exactly as you are and still you want to grow, you are then allowing the universe to love you. You're allowing God to love you. You're allowing people to love you because you love yourself. People seem to think that vulnerability is actually a weakness. And it's not, it's a strength. Because when I am willing to open myself and be exactly who I am and allow you to love me at that level of who I am, when I'm able to do that, that means I'm strong. If I feel like in order to be happy or feel safe, I have to put up walls to protect myself so I'm not vulnerable, that is weakness. So we need to kind of reframe how we look at what it is to be who we are. And it's not all about looks. I mean, yes, the songs today are about looks, and really Gertrude McFuzz pretty much was. But it's not really about the looks as much as it is the character of who we are. Even guys judge themselves based on their looks. Like, do I look macho? Or like, I don't know. I live with 2 millennial guys, and they, oh my God, they are really caught up in their looks. It's funny. It's actually funny to watch. So it's not just girls that think about that. But we are exactly who we're supposed to be. And we need to learn to love ourselves. When we love ourselves, then when we meet somebody, it's an additive. It's not a completion. It's somebody that, like, if I'm not loving myself, then I'm trying to find somebody who's going to complete me. If I love myself, then they're going to add to my experience of love. They're going to add to that already existing loveness that I feel. So we're not going to compare ourselves to others anymore. We're not going to come up short. We're not going to come up long, because there's no competition. Competition leads you to feel worse about yourself. We're divine beings created exactly the way we were supposed to be. And we are perfect just the way we are, although sometimes we don't act perfectly. I mean, I would never do such a thing. But truly, the thing is that we are perfect exactly how we are. I mean, God doesn't make junk. Like I said last week, God doesn't make junk. The perfection of us is that idea that God had for our lives. So when I think about like who I've become, all of the things that have led up to this moment in time created me just as I am. And, you know, we grieve some of those things in our past lives. We grieve that, be it not past lives, but like our past. We grieve that because we feel like things were out of our control. And we don't like that they were out of our control. But in truth, they made us who we are. I mean, I would not be who I am if all of the things, you know, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. You know, I was raped and beat up and left for dead. I was, you know, all of those things made me who I am. And the strength that I call on, the strength that I know is mine, carries me through everything because I remember that, because I give up the need to be stuck in those things. And so we need to remember that no matter what is happening in our life, no matter what happens to us or, you know, we perceive happens to us, because again, you know, things happen through us, they don't happen to us. The place of power is knowing that nothing outside of us controls what happens to us. The power comes from our ability to recognize that whatever the change that we've experienced was a change that in some way we initiated, whether that was, I know you're going to say, I didn't initiate that. Okay. Bear with me for a minute. We initiate it subconsciously because we have set ourselves up in this life. I don't believe God sets us up. We have set ourselves up in this life for lessons to teach us the spirituality of life. And so when these things happen to us, it's not about somebody doing something to us. It is all about what I set up in my life so that I could learn that particular aspect. And so as I go through my life and these horrible things happen, they just do. I mean, you know, as they happen, I always remember Ram Dass saying that sadness or sorrow, or, you know, sadness is mandatory, but suffering is not, or pain is mandatory, but suffering is not, I think is what the exact quote is. And the truth of that is that I can choose to suffer or I can choose to let it go and not suffer. And so we make a choice at some level to stay stuck in that. And when we stay stuck in that, we lose the opportunity to grow from it. And so there was this movie that I watched at one point, and I don't remember the name of the movie. It was so many years ago, but there was this girl that was born without legs and hands, and she walked around, you know, basically on her hips. I mean, there was little stubs where her legs would be, and she had arms but no hands, and she got around by pulling herself forward with these stumps that were for her arms. And she was actually a very happy person. It was kind of inspirational to watch her in her life and what she did and what she accomplished and how she saw her life. She didn't see her life as, oh my God, I can't do anything, I'm, you know, crippled. She saw her life as, oh, look what I can overcome. Just like Helen Keller did the same thing. And I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, so this girl finds this guy who wants to marry her. He falls in love with her and wants to marry her. And if she can overcome that difficulty and find somebody to love her, then you know that the rest of us have a chance, right? And Helen Keller was another perfect example. Helen Keller was born blind, deaf, and dumb, meaning dumb, she couldn't speak, mute. But they called it blind, deaf, and dumb in that point. And she found a way to become this incredible person. She found somebody who could sign for her in her hand to tell her what was going on. They built a language themselves. And she overcame overcame all of that to study and to become this national figure. And she accomplished so much in her lifetime because she didn't stop and look at herself and feel sorry for herself and say, oh my God, how am I ever going to whatever? She never did. You know, I'm sure there were moments. She had tantrums. Oh my God, did she have tantrums? But when you think about how frustrating a world would be if you can't see, you can't hear, and you can't talk, then it's very difficult to express what's inside of you. And so she got very frustrated and she threw tantrums, but they found this teacher who was with her entire life, and something or other. Anyway, and she would sign into her hand. And because of that, Helen Keller was one of the most well-read people in the world. She, Anne would sign into her these books, Braille. She used Braille. She found a way to educate herself and to become this incredible person. And she did that because she wasn't willing to stop and go, I can't do anything. Oh, well, I'm just not going to live. So many of us give up on ourselves right away because something has happened to us in our life and we feel like it's devastated us to the point where we can't be the person we were meant to be. And the truth is, God doesn't change up on us. God put us here in this place at this time for whatever reason. And it is our gift to God to be the fullest me I can be. And the thing about God is God's always for us. And I don't believe in a God that chooses. We talked about that a little bit last week too. I don't believe that God chooses one person over another. And so if God is for us, who is there to be against us? If everything is God, if everything is made of God, if all people are God, then there cannot possibly be anyone who is against us. Now, they may be against something we say. They may be against what we believe in. They may be against whatever, but they're not against us. It's not a personal thing. And that goes back to not taking ourselves so darn seriously. Because it's okay for people to have opposite opinions. And it's okay for us not to jump to the defense of our opinions with that other person. Again, if you're willing to be vulnerable and just listen, then you will hear what they're saying. And that's a place of power. However, if every time they say something, you feel like you have to say the opposite and hit them with it, then what's happened is you've lost power. It's all about power, personal power, not power over or power under. I've got a sermon planned for this month about that. But if God is for us, who is there to be against us? And jealousy and coveting your neighbor's life is not going to get you there because, again, everything is God. And if I'm happy with my life and I'm happy with who I am, and it's a choice to do that, it's a choice to be happy. Remember a few weeks ago? It's a choice to be happy. If I make that choice to be happy, then I can't possibly covet the life that someone else has. And being jealous of them, they have their own issues. I can be grateful and happy with my life. I don't have to wait until a specific thing happens for me to be happy with my life. So I'm going to end with a quote from Oprah Winfrey. And she said, I finally realized that being grateful to my body was key to giving more love to myself. And so what this quote means to me, because Oprah spent an awful lot of time trying to diet and exercise to change her body. And what this says to me is that when we have, and Faith and I were talking about this the other day, when we have our spiritual and emotional bodies taken care of, the physical body automatically outpictures that. Remember the religious sign symbol? We have the unbroken circle. We have the three. She's going to go get the affirmation card again so I can do that. We have the unbroken unity of life. We have the three parts. And the three parts are spirit, soul, and body. I talked about this last week. Okay, let's see if I got it.
We need to just get it and put it.
I know, I need to put it in the, there we go. That's our teaching symbol. So these three parts of life, the top is spirit, the bottom is soul, or the middle is soul, and the bottom is body. And so all the ideas come from conscious mind in through soul substance, which is the substance of God, the stuff that God is. And it comes into form, which is who we are, okay? This is our physical body that came into form as God thinking us through its own stuff into being. And so obviously, if we're working on the form and we're not working on the other levels, we're not going to get very far. Willpower just doesn't work. It just does not work. But if in our conscious mind, because we are made in the image and likeness of God, so that same principle of oneness, that same principle of spirit, soul, and body are not only God's makeup, but they are our makeup as well. And so if I'm focused on the bottom there and I'm not even addressing the top and the middle, then there's no way I can make a change. And when we use willpower, that's what we're doing. We're using that bottom. So the top is the ideal, the idea of what we want our body to be like, what we want our life to be like, what we want to feel when our body is that way. And if we address the spiritual concerns, like what beliefs are in the way of me achieving that, we delve into that middle piece where all of the subjective material lives, where our beliefs are limiting us or they're not limiting us. That is the place where we actually have like a creative soil. We have this wonderful mix, this rich mix of soil that we can create. I like to think of it as Play-Doh, actually. We do one of the things in our foundations classes, we create out of Play-Doh. And so I teach them about the teaching symbol in a physical way. We come up with an idea, we do a little meditation, we come up with an idea, and then we take the Play-Doh and we make it into that idea so that it comes into form. And then we scrunch it back up again and we start over again. And so that's how I teach the teaching symbol. But that's really our life. And so in order to affect the change that we want to see or experience, we have to start with that spiritual principle. We have to start with the spiritual principle we would like to express in our lives, not the physical body that we would like to have, but the spiritual principle we would like to live. And then we use that creative medium, the soul, the God stuff, to create that life, to feel the experience of what it's like when we get there, to understand what it is we really, really want. It's not the body. It's about how we feel about ourselves, right? And so if we focus our attention on that and the emotional nature that we are, because the emotions live in that middle part, the body will naturally start to reflect that. You can't go from bottom to top. It doesn't work. You have to start at the top and work your way down. All right, let's have a prayer. Goodness. Yes, I know.
All right.
I forget sometimes. I don't know what I'm going to do when she's not here. She's going to be like at home doing this from now, or well, after next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We have her 2 more weeks here with me. And then she's going to be at home doing it. I don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to have to like do a personal chat and say, you have to turn the meditation music on. Because I'm just that.
Chat you through this whole thing.
I know, right? Because I'm just that dingy. All right, let's move into prayer. Oh, in this laughter, I find the power and presence of God. Because I do know that joy and laughter and peace and power and beauty are exactly what God is. God is the thrust behind all of the joy of life. God's joy, God's happiness, God's beingness. For God is simply all there is. All there ever has been, all there ever will be is God. And I know that that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very beingness. It is who and what I am. God's heart beats within me. God's life lives itself through me. God's love emanates from me. God's power is what drives me. And I know this to be so for every member of my team, for Faith and for Lynn and for Oz and for Tina. For we are one in that infinite power of God, that infinite presence. Simply who and what we are, the God team. And in the mind of God, we are that essence of inspiration. So I know this also to be true for every person viewing this today, or every person viewing it later. Because we are all one. There is no separation where one of us leaves off and the other begins. Only God, always here, always present, always available, always loving, always being. One life, one power, one God. We are all one. So I bless this coming week because I know that in the midst of conditions that appear to be other than perfect, we are blessed to know that God is in the midst of it all. That there is a place within us that we can tap into and just allow that to be the thing that takes precedence, that gives power to whatever it is we are creating. I know that this week is blessed with an awareness of God's presence in those conditions. I know that for every name that is in the ministry of prayer this week too. For I know that God is in the midst of this condition, and it is the power of change, God's change, that overcomes those conditions. I claim it in their name, here and now, as good and very good, as I pull back the veil and expose spiritual truth, here and now. And I just settle into a feeling of gratitude to know that this is so. And I just let it be. And so it is. Whew. I get high when I pray. Anybody else have that experience? It's a good kind of high, though. The right kind of high, I should say. Okay, so she's laughing at me over here. Okay, so this is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express gratitude for that which you have received and that which you have created in mind, but has not necessarily manifested in form yet. And for me, it's a blessing to be able to contribute to this message. I contribute my time, talent, and treasure. We ask you to contribute your treasure and your time because we ask you to be here, but it's a blessing to be able to do that. So I'd like to invite you to click on the, go to oasiscsl.org. And on that home page, about the middle, you will see a picture of our choir, Tina and the gang, and our offering affirmation and a contribute now button. So I invite you to say this offering affirmation with us, whether you're watching now or you are following along later, you can do it. And so ready? Okay, let's go. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all I touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. Miss Tina.
I got this new little game. It's the latest rage. It's not a limited fire. Creek, color, or age. I stand in front of the mirror every day. Look at myself from head to toe and simply say, I look good. I look good. I look good. I am the only me that will ever be. I look good. Now the rules of the game are specific and precise. I can't judge or criticize. I have to be nice. This is the body that I have. It is divine and again I don't need a little way. Color my gray or have a facelift. I said I look good. I look good. I start every day saying I look good. I am the only me that will ever be. I look good. Yeah, yeah. There's a limit to what's on the outside. There's nothing in the world that cannot be denied. 'Cause who are you? Radiates from within. So I open my heart, quiet my critic and dig in. I say that beauty, but I know for a fact it's not really how you look, but more how you act. Was I trying to explain her? Did I give love today? I can look in the mirror, look at myself, and I can say I am good. I am good. I am good. I am enough. I know I am good. I am good. I am the only one that will ever be. I look good. Yeah. I am good. I am good. Because I know I look good. I'm good. I am the only one that I ever be. I am good. So good. I am enough.
Yeah. I love, I forgot to say this, that our spiritual practice for the week is an affirmation. And so when we look in the mirror and, I look good is great, but really I am good is the one. And as Tina just said, I am enough, I have enough, I do enough is like my favorite affirmation. So practice that with us this week, would you please? All right. I'll see you on the other side, Tina. Thank you very much. That was a song by Karen Drucker as well. So we want to invite you to purchase Elaine Silver, Fairy Elaine Silver's work, and Karen Drucker's music as well. Elaine Silver was the first one to tell us, please use my music. We Are All One is one we do every single week. We've been doing it since, 2000. And it's a great song to get us in the, because when you do music, you open people's hearts by open people's minds by opening their hearts. So we do a lot of music. And so please support Fairy Elaine Silver. You can go to her website. Faith is now typing that out. You can go to her website and order But please understand you cannot send a check to the address that's listed there. So you are going to have to email her so that she can get the check. Now, for some reason, she's not able to update her website. I'm not sure why that is. Something happened and it won't update. But also Karen Drucker gifted us with gifted us with her entire collection of work, which is about 20 albums. And so we would like to support those that support us. So Faith is now typing out her information. So her website does work. You can order directly off the website. And I think use your PayPal account. I'm not sure if you can do Venmo or not. But anyway, you can order through her website. And please support her. Buy as many CDs as you feel you can. I just adore her work anyway. She's got chant CDs, which we do a lot of. She's got song CDs like the 2 we did today. And so she has really good stuff. Our ministry of prayer, we treasure our requests so much. And we have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners that will pray every day on those prayer requests for a week. And this team that we have, this God Squad, is licensed practitioners from coast to coast. And so take advantage of the loving service they provide. And after the service, Oz will be available for what we call our 1-minute miracle. It's a time where you can share whatever challenge you're experiencing. He will stop, drop, and pray with you right there. The other part of that is that you can reach out to him through video chat. So
He's already tagged.
he's already there. Okay, he's tagged. So you can reach out to him through video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, please know that he's on the phone with someone else, and he will get back to you as soon as he can. Or you can try him later, because I don't think he will know. Well, he does know, because it says you didn't answer, right?
Something, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But
He'll get back to you.
yeah, either he'll get back to you or you get back to him a little while later. And we have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners that are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. And you can reach out to them. Go to our website, oasiscsl.org, and look at our practitioner team, our God Squad, and decide, which one you would like to contact, and you can contact them and set up some kind of payment, and then make an appointment with them, and they will reach out to you by video chat to do the session. Let's see, okay, prayer. So if you would like prayer for something, you can either type prayer in the comment box. You can type a specific issue that you might want prayer for. And if you would like to do that privately, you can always message one of us, and we will make sure that you get on the prayer list for that issue. If you would like to participate in our God Squad, meaning you are willing to make a commitment to pray every day for a week on those requests and willing to follow through, you can be on our God Squad team. You do not have to be a licensed practitioner of religious science to serve on the God Squad. All right. If you would like some exotic masks, so you want to type yes in the comment section. Oh, God. We have a Facebook group that is limited just to the God Squad. So no one else gets to see that information. We also have a public group that is our online community. So if you'd like to be part of that online community and get notifications ahead of time of things that we're going to do, I'm going to be teaching classes here pretty quick. And so I will be sending out information on that. Please type more in the comment section. And if you would like an exotic mask or a one-of-a-kind piece of clothing, Brooks Ltd., Brooks Limited, has some wonderful stuff. And she's come up with some great masks. She has one that's like a bow on each side with little scarves that hang down. I mean, her masks are really exotic. I love them. Also, I wanted to let you know about Brooks and Bailey. And Brooks and Bailey will make, will make bracelets and mandalas for you. And here's the information on how to contact her. Brooks and Bailey at 0307@gmail.com. It benefits the Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. It's a very worthy cause. And again, we like to support those that support us. So do that. Okay. Check out our website at oasiscsl.org and sing along with this blessing song if you know the words.
so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Oh, goodness.
Looking out the window and watching the rain fall, and knowing that that too is a blessing. And it was Ram Dass. It was pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And I know that that is true for me and for you. For we are all that expression of that one God living in us, and who we are is perfect, whole, and complete. I know this is true, and I let it be so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you for that. I'm really good at extracting the essence of this stuff, but like the details, not so much. So I need people around me that can draw the details back in. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. We are so grateful that you were here with us. Stay safe. Tune in next week and every week to join us for the Sunday celebration. We love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.